What's up guys, DuArktik with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we are back to talk about Battleworld and how we're gonna face Knull this upcoming Saturday. In last week we had this new discovery of this bleed strategy, which is probably considered a massive exploit based on how he's supposed to kill Knull. And we also added the three teams that I thought before this bleed strategy that were going to beat Knull. Now, there were some updates to Battleworld. We reached difficulty 4 and Knull now has double of the health that he had last week, and that is going to influence how we face Knull. Is it going to be the case? Is it not going to be the case? We're going to break down all you need to know about that in this video. So, as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share it to your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button like a boss. Now, last week when we saw this video, the massive exploit video, the characters that we talked about were Adam Warlock and Omega Red. Since then, I have been doing a little bit of research in the kit of all the characters, which was a lot of time. And we found multiple characters that can do the same effect as Omega Red and Adam Warlock. Their level of survivability is not the same as those two, so we have to adjust the teams that we have in order to maximize the damage output we can do with our bleed characters. But at the end of the day, is the bleed character strategy going to be more important than now facing Knull with his even higher amount of health? Because right now, if you take a look at Knull, his health went from 430,000 to 860,000, so the health pretty much doubled. And the answer is probably the bleed strategy is still gonna be better than the legendary team for Battleworld. Shadow King will be available on Friday. We are going to unlock Friday. I hope you guys join me on YouTube and on Twitch for the unlock. We're going to do it on difficulty 15. And then I'm going to do a second run without Captain Britain and so on to help the free-to-players out, just to make sure that you can unlock the Shadow King even if you don't have all characters unlocked. And the way the Astral team works is based on health steal from Knull. The problem is not the health steal, right? Because we have 800 million health, and we're gonna do the calculations. Let me open the calculator. So 860 million health, and if we remove 5% of that, 0.05%, that's gonna be 43 million damage. 43 million damage. So the problem is not exactly the Astral team. The Astral team works perfectly. If you can do the Astral team, each counterattack will do 43 million damage, and believe me, that will be more than all the bleeds you can apply. It's just the case. The problem is not the team itself, it's the damage cap. Because the damage cap is always limiting how much damage you can do, well, guess what? You can't use them, right? If your range of damage is 43 million or above, and if the boss can only take 4 million damage, which is probably not going to be the case, it was 1 million on difficulty 3, it's probably going to be 2 million on difficulty 4. So comparing those 43 million damage to the 2 million that you can apply with the Astral team, well, it makes the team absolutely pointless for Battleworld. In theory, the team could be the best if it had no limitations, but we all know that it's full of limitations, and because of that, the team is not going to be good, and that's why we should still focus on using bleed teams that apply bleeds, teams that can extend bleeds, and then let's just all those bleeds burn. Because on top of everything, the bleeds also ignore a barrier. They don't bypass barrier, they ignore a barrier, and they are not affected by armor and other problems. It's all based on the base damage of your characters, so that's still gonna be the best one. But if you want to increase the damage output of your bleeds, you definitely want to put Striker on your characters, that's for sure. Okay, so with this said, are you gonna use Astral? We're gonna use Astral for sure, just for testing, but that's probably not gonna be the teams we're gonna focus on. So we'll see if they change the damage cap or not, but right now what makes really Astral to suck is the damage cap. So which teams are we going to use? Well, we already talked about Omega Red and Adam Warlock, but now we have 2 additional characters, and we might get more in the future, as soon as I finish my research. We have Ironheart Mach 2, Ironheart Mach 2, that she also extends all negative effects on the target. Apply vulnerability to a maximum of 3. This is already amazing. So she can be striker and apply her own vulnerabilities. This is even better than Adam Warlock and Omega Red. And prolong the duration of all negative effects except stun and ability block by 1. I think she also does not extend trauma, but if you can apply blind to Knull, this is very, very good. And on top of that, she's also applying defense down, so you're going to do even more damage to Knull. So Ironheart, absolute must have. And I'm really considering taking her to gear tier 19 if they don't change the damage cap, because if they change the damage cap, then we have to use a different strategy. We're going to use instead the still Omega Red, but also Morgana Fey and a few other characters that do L Steel. So Ironheart is the new best in slot in case you want to apply bleeds to Mephisto, or no, not Mephisto. Bleeds to Knull and extend those bleeds as much as possible. The next character we're going to take a look at is Bucky Barnes, which is hilarious because someone made fun of Bucky Barnes recently. But this guy might be top of the meta as well when it comes to the Knull fights, because once again, the bleeds ignore the damage cap, and it's not something easy for Scopely to fix unless they make the Knull immune to bleeds, which would be pretty ridiculous. But yeah, so when you take a look at the basic of this guy, prolong all negative effects except ability block, stun and trauma by 1, and then he also chain attacks. The chain attack is not super important, but the extension of all the negative effects, that's definitely going to be important. And guess what? He's another character that we can get up easily because he's a skill character, and we don't have any good skill characters that were released recently, and we just have to figure out a way to keep him alive, right? Because that's the most important thing on these teams, is to keep them alive. Now, the best way to go around this is to mix up Omega Red with high survivability with Bucky Barnes and Adam Warlock with Ironheart, or the other way around, right? Adam Warlock with Bucky Barnes and Ironheart with Omega Red. And based on that, I try to balance the teams that we already heard about with Old Man Logan, with Mephisto, with Black Knight. We try to mix up all those teams, because instead of making a team that can do 300 million damage, we're gonna try to make 2 teams that can do the same amount of damage, right? Instead of 1 team, we're gonna try to make it 2, balance out in terms of survivability, damage mechanics, speed, and so on, to make the most out of it. And right now we have 2 teams. They are not the final teams, but they are 2 teams, and this is what we are working on. So one of the teams is going to have Bucky Barnes and one of the other characters, or Omega Red or Adam Warlock. And then we have Black Knight to clear the barrier. We have Mephisto for the bleeds, and we have Spider Weaver that can blind Knull, and she also can buff the team, and she can also clear negative effects with her basic. Her basic also clears negative effects from your own team, and this is important because sometimes you have to clear the negative effects from Black Knight. So overall, this is going to be one of our top teams that we're going to use on Saturday. Then we have the second team, which once again we have the 2 characters that extend bleeds. We have someone that clears the barrier, which is Old Man Logan with his ultimate. You should never use his ultimate unless you're going to clear barrier. And then we also have Thanos that can also apply more bleeds and give barrier to the team, which is going to increase their survivability, right? I think this team is more balanced because they have the pre-taunt, but overall these characters have more survivability. So we just need to add 1 additional character and see how it goes. And then we have a final team with Odin and with Astral and Kang. Kang can clear barrier. And we also have these characters that do some L Steel. So we're gonna see if you can do a bleed team out of Astral and Odin, or if you just have to come with any other plan. But so far, these are the two teams that can stack up all those bleeds on Knull, and that's going to allow us to do massive amounts of damage to Knull, because based on the numbers that we have, if you want to unlock a difficulty 5, which I'm not even sure if there is a point of doing difficulty 5, to be honest, we need to do the 6.5 million VP points, and that's not going to be easy. You have to kill Knull multiple times. You have to kill Knull like 6 or 7 times, and that really means that your alliance really needs to focus on these bleed teams and so on, because otherwise you are not going to be able to do it. It's just the fact that he has double of the health that he had before, it's going to be a big deal. So if last time your alliance killed like Knull 8 or 9 times, that's not going to be enough, because he has double of the health, so you have to do double of the damage. So based on the numbers, based on the VPs that we are getting now, 225,000 per kill, that means we have to kill, at a bare minimum, we have to kill Knull 6 or 7 times in order to reach out the cap to reach difficulty 5. Once again, is there any reason to do difficulty 5? I guess it will be cool because you can unlock that new frame for your characters, but beyond that, the rewards are not much better. I'm gonna be honest, if you have already Thanos maxed out, Gladiator maxed out, the amount of isolate you get is not like a huge deal. So yeah, we are just getting a little bit more shards for now. I guess that's it. Instead of 6 shards or 8 shards, you're gonna get 10 shards. So all this work for two additional shards on Knull. But that's gonna be it, guys. Remember that on difficulty 5, you actually only have to kill Knull 1 time to get all the rewards, so keep that in mind. Any other kills is just for the leaderboard, which if you can reach difficulty 5, it's not even going to matter, because many alliances will not be able to do so. So that's going to be the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Mouse Force content, and I'll catch you guys later.